not satisfied with that.
Yeah,
I want a team that can consistently pick things up, and if one or two players has a bad day, that's not the end of the world. But unfortunately, that tends to be the case for quite a few teams that we see coming to, you know, across all esports in all reality. But players that can consistently keep up that performance, in my opinion, are 1 in a million. So it's a good thing that we're seeing Fntzy not completely take over, but are we seeing enough out of the rest of the team now? That's my question as we head into the second map here.
Well, it is a tall task to take down a team like BDS, one of the greatest teams we've had inside of Rainbow Six. Not able to lift a hammer, so I haven't reached that moment just yet, but they have been on the doorstep quite a few times where everyone was just like, BDS is going to take this land. It's the French superpower here to take down everyone. We'll see what they're able to get done here on Clubhouse as we jump in. We're going to get a buck ban to start things off.
So let's see here now for BDS if they can truly round themselves out for a quick 2-0 and keep the streak of 2-0s going. We have had 2 of those so far today, and we're looking for a third here if BDS is going to be able to negotiate this one final map for themselves. Bans already coming out, and interesting ones at that, as Buck, of all things, is going to be removed from play. Should still be a very useful ban, though, considering the amount of top-down as well as soft destruction that needs to be done on this map, so Buck tends to be brought in from time to time. Thatcher, we've explained that a million times. Hopefully you guys got that by now. Same for Mira, and that'll take us to our final ban.
Ben, yeah, I think they got to pay you less now. You just skipped out on part of your job. You didn't explain the very obvious bans that were going on in the mid area. We're going to have a Rooney banned out as well here, which is quite interesting, to say the least. But at least for the Buck ban, I'll tell you guys this. For BDS, they only play it 48% of the time when it's available. They got 23 offensive rounds, and they've played him for 11 of those. So this could be something that FURIA saw as an audible for BDS, and they just wanted to make sure it was not an option for them. Buck is honestly a very, very good operator when it comes to a myriad of different maps, and Clubhouse is going to be no different. The biggest thing for him is obviously the abuse of vertical angles that only he can do inside of the soft destruction department, unless you want to risk some very important utility in the likes of Zofia and Ash. But for the Rooney ban, this one is a little bit more interesting. I want to pull these stats up very quickly just to look across the field, and yeah, played about 58-60% of the time when available, so definitely locked into some BDS strategy. This could be something that FURIA was looking into to try and get rid of.
Not to mention, right, that Rooney over the past few months has become a direct mainstay in so many of these setups. You said like 60% of the time being picked into it for quite a few teams. I think it's even more than that. So when you consider how prevalent she's become, suddenly banning her out, whereas I personally have not really been seeing that at all. Bans on a Rooney, that's going to throw a team off a little and make them have to patch up that hole with something else they might not necessarily be ready to do, or at least not have fully tested inside of this environment.
Well, obviously the biggest thing about Rooney is that she creates these choke points around these laser gates. Obviously you're able to shoot through them, but the damage that you take from them is definitely not small. That's the number one thing. And secondly, you have to give up utility to traverse them if you want to do it without taking damage. Aside from that, she has the Rooney as well, which makes her a very aggressive option. And on this map, like Clubhouse, especially for like the downstairs setup, that'd probably be the easiest to explain for you guys. She's able to lock down a lot of these hatches as well as dirt and just make it to where the offense isn't allowed to move in the way that they want to.
Miracle trying to quickly snipe out the spawns there and nearly accomplishes his task as he does get a bullet or two onto Renshiro. Unfortunately, very hard to control the spray of the SMG-11 at normal times, let alone at incredibly long ranges like that. So that was basically a one bullet and done attempt to try and line up the headshot against Renshiro. Does not pan out, but hey, still knocked off about 25 HP. That's one less bullet he's going to be able to take in the eventual fight coming up inside of the building. BDS is quickly going to use all of their X-Kairos charges to pop open the garage and make sure that they have not only an easy option to take control there, but more than likely as well, it will disable any potential aggressive positioning from FURIA on the first floor of the garage.
Yeah, it's going to be BDS with double hard breach being Habana as well as Maverick. Almost straightforward sets when it comes to this site overall. Sabana, well, she can deal with those garage panels, and Maverick is the best in the game when it comes to handling CCTV. She just torch these lines and blow it up with soft destruction. Obviously, the difference here is that it's already been blown up, and that's why you see RaFaLe being scared of what's going to happen because of that right there. Usually, there's an angle that you have to be pretty scared of when that wall ends up popping, unless they don't destroy that. So BDS will at least get away with that. So we're reaching the halfway mark now.
We're continuing to wait out for any sort of action towards construction. As you guys can see, there's nothing from BDS in that department right now, so it's going to be quite a while before he finds any action himself. In the meanwhile here as well, BDS has opened up these breaches to the inside of the garage a long time ago, but is only just now starting to actually utilize said breaches to push themselves forward. And even with that, only the Gemini from Shaiiko physically moving towards the inside. They want to be sure, like I said, that first floor pressure is the most dangerous thing here. Even more dangerous, apparently, is going to be Fntzy up on the second floor. He's going to be able to get one for himself. He's still alive. It's not him that gets traded out. Renshiro instead finds one for the attack, as he's able to knock out Miracle instead. And that's actually a very important pick, 'cause that's the smoke going down, more than likely with all three of the Toxic Babes still in his pockets. That delay potential would have been great for these final 45 seconds. Now no longer an option.
Oh, no.
However, the rest of the team can still get into this. The Clash picks up a kill next. Lenda finding one. I think an aggressive swing from RaFaLe, and Renshiro nearly meets his end there as well. Fntzy instead continuing to frag out from the inside of the garage position. Leaves only Renshiro with a sliver of HP, and BriD with a position downstairs by the garage.
Oh no, Renshiro, I really hope that you don't have to die in this way. This flash shield can deal enough damage to be able to tase him all the way down, and that's why Renshiro was going to vacate the premises. You cannot blame him in the slightest for this situation. Fntzy will be able to at least get back into sight. He's going to hear someone actually rappelling up, but I believe the gunfire actually going to cover that for the time being. BriD trying to find some space to work with. Well, Renshiro works the breach, but there's really nothing going on here. It's just BDS simply waiting for the round to end, and FURIA with the early frags have too much of an advantage for them to try and fight back.
Fortunately for BDS, a false start on all of their aggressive moves there. As you could tell the reason why they took so long to move into the building, because they were so scared of these potential aggressive setups from FURIA, and they were right to as well. We see them coming out, especially the garage position there being played out. I believe it was a Miracle on the inside of that round, continuing to punish BDS time and time again and put them down before they could even reach step one of their attack there. Not to mention the slowdowns that happened in the breach over by the balcony, and throughout the other parts of the map they tried to get aggressive on as well.
Well, that's what happens when Shaiiko gets picked so early. He's one of the players on this roster that's going to go and find you that opening kill. He's been doing it throughout the entirety of this LAN, and since he gets picked first, it obviously sets BDS on the back foot. They're not really able to accomplish much past that, especially with FURIA doubling down on some advantageous positions, especially with Clash, out of all people, getting a frag as well inside of there. And again, just making things quite difficult for BDS, but that doesn't mean that they can't right the ship when it comes down to it, especially when it comes to this offense. They'll be attacking Gym Master now, as FURIA begins to set up Cash.
The extension over here into Cash going to be a pivotal part of this setup, not necessarily to make or break the round itself, but a massive time-wasting capability that pretty much every team brings to the table now when they deploy towards this site. I mean, of course, we're not going to see any of this on the left side of your screen there and the defense on that balcony, but definitely want to put a big amount of emphasis on the Cash play as well, because this site, for the most part, can be held in a fairly horizontal nature if you're able to deploy that setup and keep control of it for good amounts of the round. At the same time, though, FURIA also going to be out and about here. Lenda specifically going all the way over towards Strip now to try and see if he can get an aggressive swing going, maybe even a run out possibly from the doorway.
This is going to be quite sneaky from Lenda. We'll have to catch up with him later on, as obviously all of the play is going down on this side of the map. Lenda's more than likely just got a black eye outside and waiting to see when the garage pressure is going to come in from BriD, and he's more than likely going to attempt to counter that. But the issue is when you swing that door, especially nowadays with the timer, he's going to get read out almost instantaneously when he gets outside, so there is an opportunity for him to die here as well. But it's a risk that FURIA is willing to take, so we'll see if this works out here for him. An update for the rest of BDS, though. They're beginning work on the CCTV wall to begin to try and break that down. They reinforce very forward here, so it's going to be the torch from RaFaLe. You can see he's already down to one tank as he begin to break up the cash room here, as well as have the Clash in tow to be able to assist with some of these gunfights.
It's a slow roll here for BDS. Once again, you can see all the drone presence they've thrown to the inside of Cash to make sure it is truly clear before they start taking control of it for themselves. Unfortunately, even inside of Cash itself, it's not going to necessarily be safe harbors. They've got the rotate open up. Man, Fntzy is so happy he got that kill. I just heard a woo from across the room there as he gets the instant headshot out onto Shaiiko to bring him down, and once again put FURIA in the advantageous position in a 5v4.
Renshiro trying to push forward with the BriD.BDS. They'll be able to at least fight here with this cash setup. And here's the issue. The clash play from FURIA has been such a nuisance so far, and it seems like it's going to continue to be. That frag grenade, correct bounce there for Renshiro. It's actually going to get back in front of the shield. Deal very minimal damage to Rare. Now FURIA in the driver's seat on this round. BDS are going to have to make a rotation here. RaFaL going to have to try and assist with the torch here as well. He won't be able to fully torch this wall, and they've actually put the mute jammer on kind of an off angle here. RaFaL will eventually be able to find it though, so the X-Kairos can start to go down now, but not before Fntzy pushes BDS back one more step.
BriD one of the ones potentially getting into position to try and aggress against this breach
This
first.
clash is so annoying.
Yep, the clash still going to remain a thing more than likely on the upstairs sites. Very, very useful for adding a temporary blockade in front of these breaches, which is exactly the purpose it's going to serve right now. Lems with a wild swing to the inside of construction. He pays the price for that very quickly as Miracle shuts it down. RaFaL trying to get an angle onto this player in Gym. It's going to be the smoke, I believe, being played by Fntzy. Can't get the job done, and Miracle now with no restrictions over towards Cash rushes right out to find BriD. RaFaL, yes, one trade, but that's it. Fntzy, a small push from him, a single pump of the shotgun, and the round is over in the favor of our Latin American squad.
Well, it's not that BDS aren't able to achieve the jobs around the map, right? They're getting walls open and they're still getting things done. The biggest issue right now is coming down to coordination for BDS. They simply do not have it in spades up against FURIA's play around this shield, and they really need to try and figure something out. They're going to have to reconcile with this because I highly doubt that FURIA is going to back off from that in the slightest. We obviously could have a big change up when it comes to the basement. That's more than likely what we're going to see as we're looking at a lineup for that just now. But we're going to be sitting on a tech pause here for just a second, folks. A little bit of a bug, so we're going to fix that, and then we'll be back in momentarily.
Was it mute bug? Should just banned him again.
Well, they tried to, but they just made him angry. He just started doing it randomly then. And then we had to have an ERC7 to block the mute effects. It's just too much.
That's going to be the new strategy. Just ban the bugs. All right, Shaiiko's back in
you
now.
You can't make me laugh like that on broadcast.
So
It's not fair.
Shaiiko's back in now, so we're probably going to start this any second. No reason why his client shouldn't be fixed after a quick client restart.
Shaiiko said, hey, I've never died first twice in a row ever. It has to be a bug. It has to be a bug. Somebody check the MOS file. That's what he said.
It's like, we're like 6 years ago in the Counter-Strike scene. It's like, oh yeah, TeamSpeak.
Exactly, my friend. Every once in a while, gotta try and find those things, extend the time, but obviously not the case here, just fixing some stuff up. And we are back in now, folks. So we will start things off in Church and Arsenal.
Let's see if that's going to pan out for FURIA so far. A solid defense being put on both of the upstairs sites, but that's the important note. It's on both of the upstairs sites. Now, right down to the basement, where a very different playstyle is going to be required. We might not necessarily get that, though, at a FURIA. Curious to see how they handle as I've not been able to catch one of their clubhouses yet so far inside of this tournament. There's two schools of thought when it comes to managing your defense on this site. You can either play it all in the site and basically create a bunker setup where you slowly try and deny the opening of top-down angles, mainly through the hatches throughout the large majority of the round, and then ultimately try to win the big 5v5 fight for the site itself at the end of it, or you can extend and sort of create a little sandwich by putting pressure onto the second floor as well. And I believe to some extent we're going to see that being made by FURIA now as Miracle just opening up a few rotates. Usually this is pretty lightly supported, not going to see a lot of reinforcements. We're not committed to make this happen, maybe a couple, but that's going to be pretty much it.
Okay, so BDS will have to deal with the extended hold upstairs here from FURIA as they are at the four corners of the earth right now. I think that drone was possibly down low. Hoping everyone else at home saw that as well there from BriD. Don't exactly know where that drone went, so Rare might get read out here. Can't exactly assess the situation fully for you guys, so apologies about that, but Rare's actually going to end up moving away from that position anyways. RaFaL immediately runs in as well. We begin droning things out too, and it looks like Rare, yes indeed, has already backed off, so that situation really not mattering at the end of the day.
RaFaL now in towards the inside.
I don't know what happened to that drone, though. I don't know where it went.
Into the bin of history.
Dude, it just like went into the abyss. Oblivion.
Tends to happen from time to time there. We are going to see a pre-place go down there on the top of the Logi position. That is just going to disable BDS if they try to drop in through the hatch to clear that out. That is normally a position you'll see this extended roam end up going towards, but not necessarily inside of this situation. Mainly because FURIA did not create the top-down angles that would normally be required to play that, so I don't think they're too keen on looking to leverage that. Renshiro, in the meantime, though, with the drone inside, I believe they've also dropped the player in here, dealt with a nitro cell, or at least avoided it from the other side there. Now the first First kill gonna come out against Fntzy, but just as quickly. A wild swing from Lenda out the front door. Re-equalizes the equation, and I spoke too soon on that Nitro, so I'm pretty sure that's what just killed Renshiro, as that's gonna take him out trying to drop down in the hatch as well.
Well, it'd be pretty self-explanatory if it did, and it did indeed. There is a massive hole, and Logi, that wasn't there before magically. I don't know. So I don't know if there's some home improvement going on around the map or necessarily what's going on, but I can tell you that BDS are not having a good time. Luckily enough, Shaiiko alive for this one, so he could have some influence that the other players on his team have not been able to find thus far, and also keeping that Gemini up going into the last minute is definitely going to assist them. They'll use that now to try and find some extra information for themselves. As for RaFaL and the rest of the boys, though, they need to start trying to clear up some of this info. RaFaL trying to get within proximity to set that off, but definitely not going to be close enough as he is well above that radius. Instead, going to have to dedicate the frag grenade to clearing up that Banshee as BDS continue to try and clear out this area to start to work on the main stairs.
Fall downstairs. A good spot right there as they are going to find out the quick position of the camera hiding in the corner, or potentially figures out where they are hiding at. Nade going deep there and nearly actually catching Highs or Lenda, but thankfully falls just a tad short as it approaches the kill box for both of them. Second one is going to bank off the corner. And Shaiiko committing to a fight on the inside of the Toxic Babe here. Probably going to wait for this first one to fade away, but he's on a bit of a timer, so just cooks the nade to make sure that that gets confirmed. Very easy for FURIA to retrieve Lenda if he did not do that and was able to back away to the inside of Church. So just making sure his kill is indeed going to be confirmed. Isolates the 3v3 now. Shaiiko trying to get a little too bold there as we approach the end of the round. Mainly was going to go try and push towards the main hallway, but ends up backing away from it. RaFaL now trying to swing in from blue, but he can't get the winning angle. Shaiiko can, however. Great support on the push, but unfortunately will lose his teammate a moment later. It's up to BriD and Shaiiko now. They're picking up one of the kills. The planet tip going onto the ground, but it is immediately denied. FURIA find yet another one for themselves. They continue to dominate this defensive half.
Man, this is such a nasty Clubhouse right now. BDS can just simply not fight back. There's just these unrecoverable frags happening right now from the LATAM squad, and every single time BDS have to try and figure this out on very low man count in comparison to FURIA. I mean, they're able to at least equalize here, but the issue is that they still have to try and funnel in through these areas, and that's the big problem. Is yes, it might be a 3 versus 3, but you don't have hatches open, you don't have walls open, and you simply have to try and push in through Moto. That's really all they had to their name. They try and have the counter push as well down into blue, but that also fails simply because there's a Banshee there waiting for anyone to try and move into that area.
So, a pause when I'll come out here for BDS.
An actual one.
Yeah, an actual pause, not a tech pause. As it's very much needed here for the BDS roster. Unfortunately, it's been 3 rounds in a row, 2 of which they haven't even really been able to get close to putting enough pressure onto FURIA. FURIA's either been able to aggress out against their attack attempt, or Team BDS has ended up walking into their own deaths many, many times, as we've seen here. That last round, probably the closest we've seen yet, to be fair, but also a very different style to what we're going to be getting over the next 2 rounds as well. With 3 successful wins for FURIA, that means they're beginning to unlock the sites they've already played before. We're definitely not going to see a bar defense either. That's a very rare treat that we've only seen once, at least between the 2 of us in recent history. So it's back to the CCTV and cash defense, where FURIA dominated at the beginning of this game.
I've just got to say it. Thank you very much. I did not want to gas that. I may have left, I'll be honest, but no, not actually. CCTV, as you said, going to be the defensive site here. BDS not able to find an answer to the aggression from FURIA just yet, as their map control has just been so very solid. The 2 previous rounds really up to what they were able to produce with the Clash, as well as Fntzy inside of Garage having a heavy influence over round 1. Round 2, more of the same, but definitely more exemplified by the Clash play around cash and construction that just kept BDS at bay constantly. And finally, that last one, the early picks for FURIA, meaning way too much inside of the round. BDS not able to get anything done as they get shut out and have to funnel into site, quickly getting dispatched by FURIA.
So no serious change up to the operator lineup here. In fact, no 6 picks or anything, any surprises whatsoever coming in from BDS. So operator style still going to be exactly the same. If you guys want to improve your in-game style, you can go ahead now and check out the Finka EUL set, as well as all of the new R6 Share Program skins, which were added to the store quite recently. Remember that all purchases support your favorite team, so go ahead, head into the Rainbow Six store, check those out, and be sure to purchase some of your favorites.
Okay, well, 20 seconds remaining inside of this prep phase for BDS to get some of these drones set up and see what's going on around FURIA's setup overall. This time around, they will be bringing the Kai to lock things up, so that should assist. And oh, indeed, they're going to be going for this one. This is one of my favorites when it comes to Kaid's kit for this map. You actually can electrify, thank you very much, Observer, both of these panels from the top area. And if you match that with some ADSs here from Fntzy, now you got a heck of a layered setup when it comes down to it. You're going to have to try and burn out those ADSs, get an explosive up there, and get rid of those electro claws. This is going to make it to where the angle that is abused for that window that Fntzy was just looking at, practically impossible to get unless you can try and find some pressure through lounge or the main garage door. Obviously, the main garage door probably not being the best option.
So for BDS, they have already realized this is the situation. Once again, FURIA was a little bit mean to BDS here, as they're going to make RaFaLe's job just a tad harder on the inside of this round.
You gotta love it when they do this.
By turning that wall into Swiss cheese. You might be wondering, like, how does that make it harder? Mainly just because he can't get a clean line going here. Fntzy, the wild swing, and it's supported by Elemzje there to make sure the Maverick does not go down. So an easy shutdown against Fntzy. One of the first advantages we'll see going into the favor of BDS.
The adjective wild was the one that you definitely should have used there, because to just run up to the door and rip it down, that is a huge sound cue. I thought from the bottom of the door being slightly busted that they had just like punched it twice and had it prepped and you're just going to pop it and run out. But it just gives you just long enough for somebody to hear that and make a call, and that usually ends up usually isn't what happens. So either way though, Fntzy is going to go down early here, and that's going to be kind of a negative thing for FURIA going forward. The good news is though, is that they still have Lenda up top, and he'll be holding on to Raptors for right now. You can see how troublesome this has been to try and just get this wall torched. Rare's going to go down as well. BDS finally jumping ahead here in man advantage.
Elemzje finding 1x, actually through the breach that's been created by the Maverick as well, so starting to open up some opportunities onto the site. And that's before. Did they make a face on the wall?
I was gonna say that is my exact facial reaction.
Just so you're gonna look at it.
No, it was a face. It was a face. I'm so depressed.
I was. Oh man, I'm really glad we missed that when he was mapping it away. But either way,
I saw it out of the corner of my eye, man. That's all I saw.
Can you imagine, like, if you're in a pro game and you walk up to map it and there's literally just like a frowny face on the wall? How trolled would you feel? I'd be pretty bad. But either way here, FURIA still struggling despite their antics with the soft breach. You continue to see BDS excelling and taking a slow approach to knocking these players out from FURIA, pick by pick. So far, Rare and Fntzy have gone down. Highs with the setup to counter the pressure, though, will more than likely come into construction relatively soon. At the same time, though, BDS has expected these types of plays 2 times already and has been able to counter them out. Lenda probably posturing for yet another swing to the outside. Went for it, but thankfully realized his mistake very quickly, as Elemzje still has complete overwatch on that and will shut it down no problem. However, 2 different players potentially going to swing into this, and however, I say it again, 2 FURIA members are all that is left here. Miracle, only one on site as well. A random Nitro comes out from Lenda because he really doesn't have anything else to throw at them, unfortunately. It will miss completely, and through a top-down angle, RaFaLe will shut out the round. It's a flawless one from BDS as they finally go on the board in the 4th.
Well, we have some very excited Frenchmen behind us, and yeah, that's exactly why. Finally able to get onto the board and find some semblance of something against FURIA's onslaught so far on Clubhouse. This round, oh, we're gonna get the face. Hold on, let's see it. 1 second.
Oh. Few more frames.
Oh, it is a face! It is a face! Oh, man. Me, when you, when we, when.
You all right?
You've never seen that meme? We got to educate this man, guys.
Sorry,
oh, my goodness. Why do you always leave me hanging, dude?
Probably because I got a little TikTok installed. I'm going to guess.
Dude, listen, you need that. You need, like, better Reddit pages. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Give me your phone. I'm just kidding.
Just taking too many pictures nowadays. Anyway, we got FURIA still in control of the matchup, but finally starting to struggle a little bit when it comes to their setups. The first of which, of course, going on over there at Cash. They could have repeated that, but that's a pretty solid win coming in from BDS. They're not feeling too confident. They will commit to the rotate over towards the other side up here as they'll go for the gym defense next.
I'll honestly be gutted. I'm honestly pretty gutted that they didn't do the face again. That's about it. That's all I have for assessment.
This setup takes a bit longer, I think, so they probably don't have time to mess around with it.
I'll give them the
there's
benefit
like 4 rooms to set up at this site compared to like the 2 you have to do on the last one.
You literally have to hold the entirety of the top floor. And the thing is that if you give up cash and just kind of like try and set around the construction area, area, you really don't have enough area to work for just your team in general, and it just begins to get very congested because there's not very many safe areas inside of gym. If you guys notice throughout these rounds, there's going to be a lot of people that are like hugging next to the mattress and just like trying to hide inside of the shower and stuff like that, and that's simply because of the lines of sight that exist across the entirety of this bomb site. So I'll have to see how they end up dealing with that. And speaking of dealing with things, BDS have to deal with Lenda inside of stalls. He's going to end up getting droned out by the Gemini clone, but he's going to continue to try and hold on to this mid floor.
Lenda still in trouble as he falls back. Another drone going to figure out where his new position is. Has to watch out for pressure from the front door, but thankfully there's not going to be a whole lot of it. Everything coming in from either the strip side or into billiards directly. High's also still holding the position just outside of the bathroom on this very same floor. And they haven't seen him yet from what I've seen, unless he's been taking out a drone that we caught off camera. Either way though, they'll figure it out now as one of the members of BDS commits to the inside of the bathroom push, and that will start sending Highs away as he takes up a new position closer towards the site.
This is a lot more straightforward offense here from BDS. They've simply held on to the west-hand side of the map and forced FURIA's roam game on this mid floor to back off. So they can hold on to this and begin working that jacuzzi balcony. See what else they could possibly get done with this, but as of right now, does not seem like they want anything to do with that cash setup, and you cannot blame them in the slightest. We do have the Clash back in the mix here, and that was the bane of their existence in this previous offense.
It's going quite quiet here from BDS after they've taken most of the first floor control away from FURIA. And FURIA, as a result of that more passive switch, is going to be able to get themselves their first kill. Shaiiko responds, though, as it's kind of just an artillery war between the two teams right now. One frag pickup from the attack, one nitro pickup from the defense. Two have barely seen each other besides that so far here. And Rare is still standing in the way as a massive obstacle to the push from the balcony as well. But regardless of that, more nade pressure going to go out, specifically against Lenda, as his deployable shield is destroyed from below, and he's forced back into the depths of construction.
Yes. Moving forward with this Gemini clone once again here. Rare will be able to spot that out, but really can't have any effect over it. So it's going to get a lot more information than they originally thought. Elemzje tries to hop inside of the building, but ends up getting taken down. They'll at least be able to equalize this, smooth things over going into the last 30 seconds. 3 versus 3 currently in between the two. BDS still with some solid map control, especially on this mid-level. We currently have Shaiiko looking up through billiards, or weights actually, excuse me. He's holding that on, but it looks like they still have a singular target here that they'll have to deal with, and you can see FURIA able to stunt BDS's growth inside of this round once again. Shaiiko having a lot of issues with this top hole, but finally they found the answer. It's on the back door. Renshiro simply sneaks in. It was all a cruel ploy, simply to gain FURIA's confidence.
Some excellent work coming out from BDS, and again, what a rebound, what a change-up from the first map as well. Having to go back and forth consistently with so many rounds being traded out between these two teams. Now it's FURIA seemingly taking direct control, but losing all of that on the second go-around here in the second quarter of the match. BDS now with a 2-round streak in their pocket, looking to make it 3 if they can take the attack on the basement. And this was the one that was already relatively close for them. Just had some issues getting access to the basement itself in those final moments, and even then, Shaiiko nearly traded his way to victory regardless.
Some massive adjustments coming out here for BDS. You can tell how... what's the best way to put this, John? You can tell how poised they are overall inside of their games. Even when things get risky, when somebody jumps ahead by a lot of rounds or anything like that, if they get ahead by 3, it's an immediate, okay, we're going to call it timeout. What is going wrong? How can we fix this? And the thing is that we see this time and time again from a lot of teams, but the one seldom thing is that they actually truly have an answer. Every time BDS has an answer, and that's the scary thing about this team, is that tack timeout is worth its weight in gold to this squad. We've seen it, we even saw it today with SSG, not really able to get anything done even after the tactical timeout.
FURIA's had a few switch-ups themselves. Obviously, no pause from on the inside of this specific map just as of yet, but still can change up quite a bit when it comes to the strategy. Although I'm not sure if we're going to get that out of them on the inside of this round right here. Still going to see a large presence deployed over towards the positions, specifically the garage spots there. I don't think we're actually going to see them play upstairs, though, after everything is said and done. Thought that we had the operator lineup to do so, but looks like that's not going to be the case. So only Highs will be messing around with the first floor hold, and there's nothing extended to the second floor as they will be playing. Or no, never mind, we do have Lenda up here. Sorry about that. But secondly, we're only looking at one floor at a time, so that was the first time we looked up here. But
I was was gonna follow it up with also Lenda. Why are you up here?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like a very light amount of aggression. So
well, secondly, you have 2 SAS operators and you're smoke. So like I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you are worrying me just a little
just switch
bit.
setups
He's gonna
real quick.
stay up here too. This could be very interesting. I wonder what Lenda's gonna be able to achieve with the Toxic Babes on the roam. He's gonna be actually partnered with Fntzy up here. You can see that actually down low, they're looking for more of a artillery defense for, you know, as minimum as I can say. 3 Nitro cells built up here for FURIA, so could more than likely see some answers coming in the way of that as well. Lenda, the rest of the squad actually going to end up backing off here. They're holding on to main stairs, and they're simply going to vacate the area.
Thermite along with a Maverick brought for hard breach on BDS's side, so there's quite a bit in excess. They are going to use one of those exothermic charges to quickly open up access to the jacuzzi balcony, and that seems to have scared away pretty much all of that aggressive pressure from FURIA. You can see that the drone work from BDS is now focused primarily on the first floor, just again to make sure that no one is playing around for the FURIA roster here. And now as well, Elemzje already committed to the oil pit. He's probably going to back away from this because he's kind of locked in here right now. Only at 50 HP. Got to be a little careful going up that ladder, but after the quick double check, it's like looking both ways before he crosses the street. Their heads back up and keeps himself in safe strides. Renshiro, in other news, is able to actually get the first kill of the round as that smoke goes down. Still with all 3 Toxic Babes available, as well as the utility once again wasted, unfortunately.
You can see BDS starting to break up this central floor, and this is one of those plays where if they had access to Buck, they'd actually be able to break down that armory wall to the north side of this hallway and start to put some pressure on these FURIA members, but without that, they're not really allowed to. They have to go for more of a vertical angle instead inside of the kitchen, which leaves the Renshiro susceptible to Nitro Cell plays. Greatly enough, though, they've actually dwindled those down to 1. Miracle, the only remaining Nitro Cell on defense, but it could obviously leave a lot of things up to chance here for BDS, especially when it comes down to their plant opportunity. Big pickup on Lenda, obviously, getting the smoke off the board, but as you guys can see, this drone economy really starting to dwindle as well. Shaiiko obviously still with 2 up, and obviously being Yana is going to assist in this regard. Renshiro drops, will be able to sledge a soft panel here on Church, as while they're starting to wrap around. Fntzy will end up getting down. BDS beautifully done so far. Elemzje inside of blue as well, but Renshiro's going to get fragged out inside of Church. Elemzje simply holding on to this for the time being before Heis makes his move. He'll be able to knock down the case. He's going to hold on to this in Moto. It's a 1 versus 2. RaFaLe knows where he is, but FURIA with the plays as they reclaim space and reclaim rounds.
FURIA take control of the lead with that one as well. We were looking at a situation where we could have very easily ended up in a 3-3s. BDS seemed to have gotten a good read on FURIA's holds here, but FURIA playing the passive game yet again, choosing not to take these earlier fights, which in the past 2 rounds had usually gone by the way of BDS. They take it to the site instead, fall back on the bunker setup, and that pans out, although once again is very, very close at the end of the day, going all the way down to a 2v2 before FURIA finally takes over for themselves, securing a 4-2 half, and now, of course, putting BDS on the defense, where they're going to go right back upstairs to CCTV cash for their first round.
So it's going to be the switch of sides in between these 2. Obviously, this half being played out very well by FURIA, able to split it 4-2, and especially the earlier rounds is looking so strong in the way that they were able to handle BDS's defaults. BDS finally able to get something on the board, back-to-back rounds, but before FURIA were able to reclaim that last one that was looking like it was going to go BDS's way as well, but some immense gameplay, or gunplay, excuse me, from FURIA was able to pull it back across the line, especially once they were able to bide for case control inside of Moto. But as we reach the half now, obviously switching sides here, FURIA going to be on the offense. Will they take more of an aggressive route, or is it going to be that controlled precision once again?
We'll see this in just a moment, as obviously the rest of BDS are busy bees right now, moving across the map, trying to set up the rest of the reinforcements that will be necessary for whatever the overall plans are going to be from BDS. Definitely some aggressive posturing going to be going on, though, including Elemzje all the way in bar right now here for himself, just to set up and counter out some of those preset drones. Some of the other utility that will be coming out from the attack, but could be a potential position if he stays over here to try and swing out later. So we'll catch up with him in just a little bit. It's Shaiiko that's going to be the most aggressively postured right now, but as I kind of expected, not really going to be able to stick here for very long. Does need to move from that harsh corner pretty quickly.
Yeah, Yes, indeed. You always got to make sure that you are in an area with some exits. You never want to try and limit those, John, because, well, when you do, you probably die.
Ooh.
And that's one thing that you never really want. The beautiful lineup here that usually ends up catching somebody off guard. I will be completely honest with you guys. I accidentally die to this all of the time. You get so used to no one managing this angle, and you're like, oh, hey, guys, they're torching the garage.
Also,
oh, I'm dead.
Really good example there, because BDS did not do the Swiss cheesing on the wall there. That's how quick you can open it when the wall is not messed up from the other side there.
Oh,
so,
my
what?
God.
What was that?
Yo, Fntzy. Oh, my. Dude, you just got world starred. That was an uppercut. That was, oh my God. Somebody put him on a milk carton. Oh, that was insane. Anyways, Renshiro ends up taking the head off of Fntzy there. And FURIA more than likely going to be trying to figure out exactly what went wrong there later on, obviously. Still around to play out here. But they're actually going to be adjusting the goalposts. Instead, they're moving across the map. They've already got CCTV busted up, but it's looking like construction might be the way ahead for them.
High's moving forward. They're supported by the drone. He's expecting something to be sitting downstairs for a potential swing, but obviously won't find much from that. And now we're going to see High's just take care of some of the soft breach to make it a little bit easier for them when they decide to move in and actually open this up a bit later on in the route. See, obviously the unfortunate part of this is that they have lost the Zofia too, so that does remove some of their capability to deal with specifically on-site utilities, such as right now when there's going to be a mute jammer on the other side of the wall. It's not necessarily going to be an easy way to deal with that. And actually, where is that position? Oh, you know what? I think it's in the corner,
yeah,
right?
Yep. So zoom in, and it's right here sitting in the wall. Oh, wait, there it is.
Yep.
Boom, you just saw it.
Right there.
Right there. Yeah, that mute jammer. So actually, if you put it to the left-hand side, funny enough, it would work, but he's worried about the hatch. That's what he's worried about. He's worried about somebody being downstairs to possibly blow that up. So they're going to get Miracle out here to try and torch it because they think something's there, but guys, we all know it's not. It's a secret. You can't tell them. They're going to have to figure it out themselves. And also, with that, very minimal time in order to do so. They're trying to hold on to the flanks right now, but looks like they're running into some trouble on the side as Shaiiko will take down one. High starting to propel himself forward as well. So Miracle will be managing the CCTV window. Elemzje will end up going down. It's going to be the first pickup for them, but with 20 seconds remaining, this is a dying round unless something big changes. The Nitro Cell out, not going to deal much damage to the FURIA members, but they have simply been stuck outside in the cold, and there's really not much to be done. High's trying to flush in. Shaiiko will take down one on the breach. RaFaLe will take one as well. Highs will down one on the top of red, and that's going to be all she wrote. It's 0-0 on the board, and BDS with a...
Let things play out for another round or two. In my opinion, FURIA don't seem completely lost here, so there's a possibility you could have seen exactly how BDS try to play things out on a separate site as well, then maybe figure out what's consistently going wrong between that round and this one that's coming up, then talk about it. But like I said, I don't know where the call came from.
Hey man,
so.
I personally speaking, I would trust head coach John Blumel III. I would.
Zero competitive experience.
Hey, you know, you've casted quite a few games. That's not comp at all.
That's all I've done though.
You're really good at talking.
I was like a mediocre Guild Wars 2 player. That's the only claim to fame I have, and it's not even really a claim. So
I mean, but hey, that also led you here with me, which is also bad.
True.
I don't know why I even tried to use that as an example. That was probably the worst thing I could have used as an example.
Okay, enough about us.
Well, hey, we're finally out of the tactical timeout, man. Sometimes, you know, we like to have fun here, folks. But either way, though, we're finally back into the action. What we actually want to talk about, and what you guys want to hear about, is round 8 and what's going to be going on with this. It's going to be an extended hold for BDS here. We saw this from FURIA. Theirs was not lackluster. It was just very small time. I think that's the best way to put it. There really wasn't much going on the top floor, whereas for BDS, there's a lot, especially with both sides of the both double panels on both sides of the map being reinforced, the one for CCTV and the one for Jacuzzi. Those get held down by mute jammers, as well as Vigil and everybody else along for the ride to make sure that the info game for FURIA is not perfect.
Let's see Miracle having a camera there and some good intel on it for just a split second. Unfortunately, the second he jumps onto it, he was looking right down the barrel of another player from BDS's eyes, so he's going to be able to shoot that out and restrict that intel for quite a bit. No reaction will come of that drone intel, unfortunately, here. Miracle's by his lonesome, so can't really do anything about it. Lenda does want to try and get a quick opening onto the wall up here, the main balcony wall, but unfortunately, as you can see there, it's going to be jammed out from the other side, so we'll take a moment to try and open that up. Thankfully, it's not the end of the world. There's not going to be any ADSs or anything here, so just a wild nade in from the other side on the window there will re-enable the capability to open that up.
Okay, well, FURIA needing to break up the map now. No answer to the Jacuzzi wall just yet, so Elemzje, as well as I believe BriD.BDS, be able to hold on to this space. Renshiro will be managing the bottom of the stairwell as well, just to make sure that his teammates actually have safe harbor to return to. He wants to make sure that FURIA cannot get control of this space. Otherwise, they're more than likely going to run into quite a few issues. FURIA, though, they'll be able to get Jacuzzi open finally as they start to muster their strength and push forward on this top floor. And obviously, BDS good for this. They want to stay up top, and you can't exactly blame them. FURIA just now got in the building, and there's only been a minute, and it's down to 1:30 already.
BriD taking up a new position. They realize he shifted towards it, though. Not even the red ping either, but it's going to be enough to take him down as Miracle moves forward now with that kill in his pocket. Fntzy also able to take some control on the inside of the map. BDS, this extended play, this aggressive extended play towards the second floor does not pan out, and they go down to a 3v5 only with the site players left standing.
Well, very problematic right now for BDS because the extended hold really did work into their favor. They were able to delay a lot of time, and honestly, this is still going to be something to consider up against FURIA right now because look at, Miracle is still getting the hatch. We're at 45 seconds. They're going to have an immediate answer once they get these tasks done. No vertical play inside of Kitchen either. They're just now getting Kitchen hatch. You can see how frantic FURIA are running around. They're like, oh my god, what do I do? We need to do something here. Hey, Rare, can you get the hatch? Yeah, I'll get the hatch for you, man. I'll get this open right now. And now RaFaLe ready to try and gunfight back. Can he get the initial frag? No. All of the damage coming onto him instead, but not before he delivers quite a few shots to highs. Let's see what the rest of BDS can do, though. Shaiiko will go down. It's only up to Renshiro. He knows where one of these members is, but it looks like FURIA gonna have too many bodies in this situation. Way too many people to try and get this frag that would end the round for them if he could find Rare, but all of the pressure finally building to FURIA, and it will bubble over into sight for a flawless.
The 5v3 builds up to too much to deal with as they try to take aggressive positions when the execute is finally ready to boil out there for FURIA. Not to mention the fact that Zofia utility had still gone, at least the stuns, had gone relatively unused up until that point in the round, so they were able to isolate out most of the defenders that were remaining and reduce their ability to fight anyway. Great stuff from FURIA, solid response, and as well, a great rebound right off the pause. Now it's time for BDS to do the same. They're still 2 rounds behind, and FURIA only 2 rounds themselves from taking the second map and sending us to our third map of the day.
It's funny because like everyone loves to talk about clean executes and oh, you guys took map control so well and you did this and you got the flawless round. That's awesome. My sign for awesome teams and just great teams in general is these kind of moments like what FURIA just had. Very low time. You cannot mess up a single one of the tasks that you're doing. Otherwise, you're more than likely going to lose the round strictly by proxy. And FURIA are able to get all of those tasks done. And not only that, not lose a single member in that process as well. That is some insanely high-level gameplay from the LATAM squad. Let's see if they can continue to do it throughout the rest of this offense. And also that tactical timeout seems pretty positive so far.
Indeed it does, so I was probably wrong again.
I wouldn't say that to your face.
Well, let's see here for FURIA what else they're going to be able to bring us. Already a bit of a change up to the strategy as a Montaigne now going to be brought to the table for this attacking roster to hopefully allow for a little bit more free real estate gain for FURIA, especially once they get these breaches open. We were seeing FURIA use the Clash quite a bit for the very same reason, but on the defensive end of things, so we'll have to find out if it works just as well for the attack. Quite a while, though, before we see any combat transpiring between these two teams, as there's quite a bit of breaches to be made here, specifically starting with Miracle, as he'll have to open up the main balcony.
He works hard for his money, John. He's just got proper PPE on. You can see he's got the handguard there to make sure the heat doesn't actually get to him or anything, but as we're still making memes, they're just working on getting these walls open. We have BDS right inside the gates, actually, waiting for FURIA's next move. It's going to be a Lems inside of Rafters, and this is going to be a play that could honestly catch them off guard. You can see RaFaLe is actually here to assist with this cross that they've been able to implement here for catch, but this is seemingly not the play as of right now for FURIA. This is something they could return to later, and Miracle actually able to save quite a bit of his fuel as well here, so this could actually be a really, really good thing for them. Let's see if he's able to get both of these walls, and I'll be honest, if he does, I'm very impressed with his ability to save this fuel.
I think he's got it. Just going to be a little careful of BriD. The good news is BriD is well secured back in the bathroom there, so there you go. Yeah, both walls going to be taken out. There's still a good amount of torch left there as well. Another 3/4 or so remaining on the charge, and he's going to be able to open up a couple more angles on that left wall as well, so someone can hold a relatively safe position to fend off Logi swings.
Okay, well, FURIA jig is up for them now, and they're overall game plan. As you were talking about, playing a lot of the clash on defense, it was very difficult for BDS to try and handle, and now it's going to be the Monty of Rare. We've seen some pretty unique things happen with Monty at this LAN, some prone kills and everything of the sort, and if you didn't see those, well, you guys need to go watch some Cyclops games later on. But either way, we're down into the last minute now, as really nothing has happened across the map, minus some hard work going on. These tasks. Frag grenade finally out, and it's actually going to be able to catch up Renshiro. I believe that's his nitro cell as well. They'll be able to clear that out. Lenda gets his frag of his own. They're more than likely going to start looking for this plant very soon. The case being on Rare, that's the Monty currently standing inside of Waits. Fntzy will get yet another kill here as RaFaLe and BriD, the last two that remain, but that's so very quick, and it's a flawless round back-to-back for FURIA.
That pause is leading to such a perfect rebound here for the FURIA
I don't
roster.
think the pause was good. I don't think so.
All right, listen. I'm allowed to make bad calls. I was an opinion. I'm allowed to have those.
You're not allowed to have those on the internet?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I'll admit, I was wrong. It was a good pause. Either way, though, FURIA rocketing ahead now in the lead at a 6-3 scoreline. BDS there, and more importantly, calling out FURIA there. Great usage of the Maverick to open up both sides, both balconies, and I think only using the one opening. So the other one served basically as a bait to hold off the cash player for an extra period of time, as that player had to be watchful of that pretty much the entire round, thinking like, okay, they opened this, they clearly used some utility to get access to it, something's got to be coming my way eventually, but never ended up being the case, as the push was almost entirely from the outer windows, leading into gym in the bedroom, as well as the jacuzzi push.
Yeah, those are those plays where just as a defensive team, sometimes you're like, why would they blow this? Why would you go over here and do that?
Why would you waste my time?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you spent all that time to torch this properly, and then now you're just not going to do it. I cannot believe it, but it's more of a distraction than anything, and it really does work out in the favor of FURIA.
Also gave FURIA a second option if they needed it. So.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Remember the play from BDS earlier on where Renshiro simply just backdoored it, just walked right in and started picking up some frags, and unbeknownst to a single FURIA member, knowing he was there.
10 seconds left.
Very, very good play indeed. Now, we need to see 3 of those in a row from BDS if they want any hope of ending this series in a 2-0 fashion. If not, any one of these next 3 rounds is claimed by FURIA. We will go to that third and final map over on Cafe to determine a winner out of this series. By single elimination as well, so the loser will be eliminated. Our winner will move on to be our 3rd semifinalist of the day.
Okay, well, there's a quick check over here, and yes, I did want to look into this. So 4 plays currently for BDS on Clubhouse with a 75% win rate, and the greatest thing of all of that is just remember, one of these previous maps that they did win, they actually beat FURIA 7-4. So this is a huge difference from what we saw from FURIA previously up against BDS. And as you said, there's a huge chance here that we actually end up going to map 3, which, I'm going to say it again, I don't think anybody expected.
So let's see here now if FURIA can get the job done. Miracle going to come leaping in through the hatch and starts randomly spamming through the floor here in hopes of maybe catching someone from BDS the other side. No one even close to that, however. So Miracle's going to quickly go down to the first floor and also start opening up the main bar hatch to get some access down towards Moto.
All right, guys, well, it's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it. This time around, it's going to be Miracle torching up these hatches. Trying to get Moto open here, and Lenda, you know what, we're just not even going to talk about it. Okay, anyways, you move forward. You do great, boo-boo. That's what you do.
That's one way to hide it.
Just get rid of the evidence immediately. Either way, though, Lenda more than likely going to start his work on the kitchen hatch here, and this is where you're going to switch over to the 2 form instead of the 4, simply because of the impact tricking that goes on extremely often for this position. We see it happen time and time again here on Clubhouse, but obviously this not going to be backed up with impacts for BDS. FURIA starting to dwindle on time, though, and the good news for BDS is that they actually haven't lost a person just yet. Stark contrast to what had been happening previously.
Still 2 minutes gone from the round. A massive amount of FURIA's time bank has now been wasted. And how did that happen?
Attackers have located a bomb.
Rare taken out by his own teammate there. I guess revenge from the last map, but
splattered his friend.
Still don't know how it ended up transpiring.
Speaking of splattering, Fntzy's going to be able to get one, but it's immediately refragged. It's a 4 versus 3 now here for BDS. As well, FURIA finally on their back foot, but well, after killing their own teammate. So more than likely even farther than that. That's definitely a mental reset there if I have seen one. But the good news is that they have plenty of opportunities to still make mistakes. Into the 4v2 now as Shaiiko will get a kill of his own, but I don't see this going very much farther. Although Miracle might have an opportunity opportunity here, and they will pull my words right out of my mouth. 2 versus 1 now after Elemzje takes down Highs. Miracle not seemingly having an answer just yet. Doesn't have a frag grenade to be able to mask his fall yet either, and has both of these players poised for his drop into Armory. Here it comes. Able to prone it out, M590 close, simply just feeds the magazine into dirt, and not a single person is going to peek. Well controlled from BDS.
Yeah, unfortunately, at this LAN, players have not really been swinging those, so we've been seeing a lot of people take the smart option. Once again, that is the case right there. So he just dumps the mag and hopes that someone comes out from the dirt tunnel, but is not going to end up happening. Still an advantageous position here for FURIA, but only for the next 2 rounds, as BDS claim 1 of the 3 they need to tie us back up and take us to overtime for the 2nd map in a row here in our matchup.
You know, it's going to be really terrible if what causes all of this, after that beautiful tactical timeout, BDS get all, or excuse me, FURIA get all the way up to 6 points, and BDS bring it all the way back on FURIA team killing. If that happens, I'm going to be so sad for FURIA.
I would hesitate to call that the catalyst.
No, but it's definitely something. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's not good.
It's like you know, it's just the convenient beginning of the downfall, I guess you could say.
It's like kind of like driving like a 2005 Honda. You know, like there's parts on it that are just kind of going out. You're just like, oh, well, it's going to be fine. I really hope these things don't break. That's kind of the point where FURIA is at. I feel like, you know, honestly, I really do feel like, all jokes aside, I feel like they do really have a very, very positive mental. But that is one of those things that you guys just have to be aware of. That's one of those moments that can be a tilter. And if it did indeed happen that way, you know, and it was quite negative for FURIA overall, that could be something going forward that BDS are going to be able to abuse, especially if these kills come in hot and heavy inside of this round.
So, BDS once again going to try and gain themselves one of the 2 rounds that is now necessary for them to come out on top. We're going to see Renshiro bring the Cade into the fold here, and he will deploy both of those electric balls to reinforce the garage positions. He has some picks to help out with that. And as well, ADSs will come in there to make sure that you can't just chuck an easy frag grenade up on top for FURIA and deal with that, allowing you to open up the garage panel, limiting the options for the attackers by quite a bit, and also enabling for Shaiiko to assist here if he's even really needed. Obviously, his main concern is going to be over here towards the blue and red stairs, as well as fending off pressure from the front door. But meanwhile, for FURIA, there's a large focus on quickly getting open this balcony door once again. We're already halfway there, like I said. Without the Swiss cheesing that we were seeing from FURIA, it's a very quick process for a trained Maverick, which will only take about 5 to 10 seconds.
As for FURIA, they were going to have something interesting come into the fold for them, and it's going to be Lenda on this Ying. This is an operator that we have not seen, at least on this map, in between these 2. So we'll see if those Candelas can possibly get something done in the dying moments of this round. As for BDS, they're playing this one very close to the chest. They do not want to give up frags early on here to FURIA, so they're going to allow them to work the map slightly, but we could also see some aggressive plays like what Elemzje is going for right now. You heard that drone go all the way down, be able to get rid of that as well. And that means he's got some space to work with around main stairs, but don't know exactly if he knows that there is someone in this area. Oh, just saw the backpack of that man, and Lenda will end up going down to Shaiiko across the map. And as you said, beautiful comms coming out here from BDS, and they'll take down the Ying so very early here.
Not only good call out to, and good trigger discipline from the player who spots him initially there, Elemzje as well. Not only does he make the call out, but his opponent probably as a result of that make sure not to over push into an area where Lenda would have been able to easily pick up that kill. So great turnaround on the situation there. BDS has the advantage now and is going to start pulling back a little bit closer to the site. Now they don't have to worry so much about their fragging capability.
That sucks for Highs. He really thought that he had some space to work with here that BDS just simply were not aware of, but there's a Valkyrie camera there and it'll read out his position, so now they're aware a construction is more than likely the take for FURIA. They'll be able to get the double panel open for construction though, unlike the last time where the mute jammer thwarted it, so luckily enough, be able to at least start applying pressure as they're looking for this planet temp.
They're going to be able to go for this planet temp very early on too. You can see the cast room itself not very well defended. Most of that pressure off the site.
Okay.
We still have players downstairs. Now, okay, there is the insurance policy coming into fold there now for the defense, but how exactly is it going to lead further into this round? Shaiiko denying the next player that tries to push in. That's Fntzy going down. They know the play is coming from construction now, so Shaiiko, realizing there's a bit of window pressure, also goes to the hard corner, right around from where the breach was just made by FURIA a few seconds ago. He can swing like this, an instant denial against Rare, knows he has a second one, and it's so clean from Shaiiko as he gets the quad. Will be denied on the ace by Miracle, but Miracle is now alone against the world here, or against everything from BDS. The French at a minimum Miracle will try to push himself forward here with no time left, but as you can see, it's a brutal crossfire, and he'll fall victim to it the moment he crosses the threshold.
That was so very clean from BDS, especially the prevention there. That nitro cell sitting all the way in rafters and have to chuck that all the way through the door frame of Cash. Either way, they're able to get it to work, and BDS one step away from pushing us into overtime. Their adjustments so far have been so great, especially in these last 2 rounds. Able to get a big pickup initially to take down Lenda, and then Shaiiko just does what Shaiiko does best and frags out on every one of the FURIA members, trying to create space and side of sight.
And so this will take us to the final round of regulation. This is everything that BDS has been fighting for over the previous 3 rounds here. Able to pick up the first 2. Can they get the job done, or will it all be for naught? Ultimately giving FURIA a 7-5 victory. FURIA's had plenty of time to react to the previous few rounds, figure out what the issues are. The problem is they've never been able to rerun the same attack here, so they are constantly having to shift the site, and we're heading back over here towards the gym setup. And as well, BDS finally taking a note from FURIA as they're going to bring the Clash out into the fold here, something that BDS struggled with quite a bit on their own attacking side.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Here's some of your own medicine, FURIA. Let's see how you guys like it. And, well, it shouldn't be too bad for them. They obviously have Fntzy as a direct counter, and they have 4 nades to try and deal with this shield, but that could obviously all get burnt up, as Shaiiko as well as RaFaLe both have utility to counter that out. So we'll see exactly what is going to go down here, but this BDS setup overall is very beefy in the utility department, especially backed up with Renshiro and those Goyo shields.
So let's see how BriD is going to be able to make the impact necessary, or the delay more than anything necessary, to potentially put his team into an overtime position here for FURIA as well. Like I said, plenty of time to figure out the situation. Interesting pick for them is they've actually brought an IQ into the fold. IQ has continued to be a rarer and rarer pick ever since the new ping system was introduced, because as long as you have visibility through drones, normally you can figure out that information without needing to bring the electronics. And obviously you guys saw in the reveal, she's getting a little bit of a rework to buff that capability coming in a recent upcoming patch, but for now, still has that limitation, but can still find a useful position inside of this specific situation if FURIA are struggling to figure out where that utility is, and the drone intel is being denied constantly.
Oh, I'm sorry, did you say IQ grenades? Is that what you said? That's what I heard. I heard IQ grenades.
Well, she didn't bring grenades.
She doesn't have grenades, John.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, wait, yeah, you're confusing me. What are you talking
about? No, one of the...
I was like, I didn't forget. I was like confused with the point you were trying to make. Like,
no, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later, because Rare is immediately getting himself into sight, and then he's also going to get a touch terrified, as was I, honestly. He simply just waltzes in right off Jacuzzi, and there's not a single BDS member home as well. Frag grenade out. Does it end up hitting its mark? It will not. I believe that got eaten up as well, so BDS still allowed to exist for the time being.
Renshiro primed and ready to deploy a Nitro Cell the moment the FURIA commit themselves towards the inside. For the time being, though, FURIA realize the amount of pressure that is broiling right at the edge of that breach. They are not going to test that anytime soon here. Fntzy is actually trying to look through the windows to see if anything from BDS might pop out just a little bit too much, and they can abuse that. We can obviously see BriD in the way here. He's already taken quite a few shots. Here comes the flash spam to try and fend off BriD. It's going to push him back by a couple steps. Only activates Lem's aggression, though, as he tries to swing from the top while also trying to watch his own back. That flash timer expires. They put the Clash right back into position. They're just going to keep her there.
Oh my God. Shaiiko, single bullet, able to take down Lenda. He'll make the move into weights as well and take down Miracle. And FURIA are falling apart at the seams. RaFaLe with one as well. It is going to be BDS taking us to overtime. Rare's locked up. The whole team's here. Rare, you have a shooting gallery. And if you win this situation, I swear I literally pay you $1,000 right now. I swear to everything.
Look, he just ran up. He's like,
grave. He's just trying to find these frags. Look at his poor health, John. It just slowly dwindling from the electricity surging through his body, and RaFaLe will get the frag. BDS force us into overtime.
This looked like surely a FURIA map a couple of rounds ago, but it has completely flipped. BDS taking full control of these final 3 rounds of the half yet again as well. They nearly did the same thing inside of the first half as well. So now it's time for overtime yet again between these two teams, possibly to settle the series. FURIA are getting nervous now. They're facing potential elimination. A map 3 seemed almost a certainty just a few minutes ago, but now elimination is looking more certain if they don't turn things around.
Are you sure it wasn't the team kill?
I'm pretty sure, but
I'm just messing with you.
I'd hope not.
No, honestly, BDS have been playing a fantastic defensive half. That's really what it's been. Their adjustments across the board to give FURIA a really difficult time has paid off in dividends, especially for that last round there, the 6-pick into the clash. And although FURIA can play it, they don't know how to play against it. They didn't have an answer to any of that situation on Jacuzzi. Instead, they just threw the kitchen sink at the situation and hoped it would do something, and it did literally nothing at all. So FURIA now put in between a rock and a hard place is, well, at least now they're going to be on the offensive side, and that's really the hard place I'm talking about. Their offenses have been lackluster, to say the least, after what we saw previously. The tactical timeout helped quite a bit, but then errors just started happening across the board, and BDS obviously having the upper hand with 2 rounds in overtime being defensive.
Also, BDS brought the clash in, so.
Again?
No.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about that previously. Yeah.
Basically, the big lesson we learned from this map so far is Clash is good.
Clash is annoying. Clash is so unbelievably annoying, and then when people play her correctly, it's like, you know what? Why? What? Where did you kill him from, Elemz? I was looking up, man. Like, give me
that was a spawn peek if I've ever seen one.
Where
Look
the
at this.
heck?
I think he had to stand on like something in the construction to get that angle
okay,
too.
there's a stack of what the heck is that stuff
right
called?
Here.
Yeah, drywall. That's what that's called. Yeah, he's sitting on the drywall.
I think that's
stuff.
plywood actually.
Is it plywood? No, it's drywall.
I can't see from
I'm
that
gonna
distance,
argue with you. It's drywall.
We'll probably see it at some point in the round here. It's
honestly,
a block of textures. That's what it is.
I'm pretty sure. Listen, if you want to know the stupid stuff I know about this game, I'm pretty sure on the side of those it says Rainbow Six drywall.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I'm pretty sure it does.
So let's keep an eye out here. See how FURIA is going to quickly try and make up for this deficit now. As obviously, they've been stunted right from the start. And, I mean, it couldn't have happened to, like, a worse operator as well.
Well, at least they still have Maverick.
That's good.
So that's good.
Everybody's been bringing the double hard breach. So usually it's not the end of the world to lose one. The problem is, though, is that, again, they're going to need to conserve that torch for everything they'll need to open. Still might be 1 or 2 walls they likely can't get open, because at most you're going to be getting 2 with this torch, as we saw earlier on in the matchup here. Nice nitro dodge there from High. Thought he was a little close, but actually was able to avoid a large majority of the damage. And now, looks like he wants to return the favor against Renshiro. Renshiro very much ready for that, though. Slowly trying to swing up into an aggressive position, but High has other plans. He's going to rotate over towards Stock and potentially make a swing from there.
Yeah, FURIA really don't look like they know what the next step necessarily is. They're trying to find some extra information to influence their next decision. They'll at least be able to find Renshiro inside of Secret, but he's got an ADS down there as well as barbed wire to assist him. So this is just going to be a time sink here for FURIA. They obviously do want to get rid of him. He's still going to be a problem, but there's a lot of problems on this mid floor right now. The Valkyrie here, and it's Elemz to take him down. He'll feed the rest of the magazine into Stock to try and find Highs, but that's Renshiro's job, as he'll knock down the sledge. FURIA now have to try and get some refrags out here. They'll be able to at least get one, but it's not going to be enough of a negotiation here, as yet another member will falter.
Miracle alone, essentially, here does have the possibility of resurrecting Highs, but he has other things to worry about, and even more than he thought to worry about, apparently, as a new element is added at the final second from the red drop to shut that round down, and once again, put BDS on map point. 4 rounds in a row from this team now. What a comeback, and they only need 1 more to get it done.
Look at the smile on Elemz's face as well, just ear to ear after that spawn peek, and he knew exactly what he did as well. Right from the beginning of the round all the way to the end, he's like, yep, FURIA doesn't really have an option, and it's all because of me. So they're at least able to get the wall open, and the thing for FURIA there was they obviously bide for that CCTV wall, they get it popped, but then they really can't have any effect over the garage area, and that really seemed to be the play. If you guys saw, Fntzy relocated himself to the outside rafters to try and play for the plat break there, and he was simply probably holding that down so they could get garage control and go for default plant. He would enact as the cross, but they didn't really have any options to do so because they didn't have a way to actually get into the garage panels down low. They could try and put RaFaLe down there, but I mean that could also, or not RaFaLe, excuse me, they could put their Maverick down there, but that could also lead to some implications as well that they weren't exactly ready for. So it just seemed that FURIA right from the jump stunted, but the lucky thing is they're back on the side that they favor, and when we saw them take it to BDS, and not only take it to BDS, but they're back on the site that was one of the biggest issues for BDS to try and handle.
Confidence swings here. Definitely going to come into play, though. BDS has been absolutely thriving over the past 4 rounds here, and FURIA has seemingly hit a wall. So that will also be changing up to some extent how these players might be approaching the upcoming round. I say that, but at the same time, Lenda already going to his very aggressive position over here on the inside of Strip, potentially line up for an outside swing. And he might get the opportunity for a fight here as well. Quite a few members of BDS in the area. Not sure if they've been able to successfully see him from a drone's perspective or not, but you can see it. They're going to start to work their way in here now.
Okay, well, BDS, the opportunity to seal the deal right here. Taking 2 maps after running things back up on the defensive side. FURIA, even with a tactical timeout, not able to achieve much. Lenda will get droned out. Not going to be too much here from the Zof on the aggression as Elemzje was on a drone of his own. The ping's now starting to come out, and luckily enough, Elemzje has the LMG in hand as well, so he can simply just feed the magazine to these angles. He knows the pressure's coming. It's mounting on both ends. He's finally going to take some heat, but that's actually going to be from the billiard tad from Miracle. It's only going to tag him up, but Lenda definitely worse for wear from that situation.
FURIA backing up and keeping their players alive this time, which is the good news. In some of the defensive rounds, they did have issues where they would lose too many because of a constant commitment to these types of fights. But this time, they take the conservative choice. They fall back before things get a little bit too dicey. They keep Lenda, as well as a few of these other players, alive in the full 5-player strength up on the site. However, the first kill is still going to end up... Oh my goodness, 2 kills now. Shaiiko and Renshiro able to leverage them. This nade, let's get it back in, and he's trying to run from it. Thankfully, gets far enough away, but still massive damage against Rare regardless. And BriD is able to find a different kill. Miracle goes down. Rare trades it out. He's fragging so desperately to keep his team in it, but it's not going to work. BDS get it done. They take the matchup 2-0, and they're going on to the semifinals.
BDS with 6 rounds in a row to take Clubhouse, steal it away from the LATAM squad that simply had it in their clutches, John. They just had to reach out and grab it